Hey everybody. All right, this lesson is more just instructions for your next assignment. So we've just finished reading the My Parents Wrecked My Favorite Jeans reading assignment. And now I want you guys to find this page. It says My Favorite Jeans Vocab down the middle. Okay. The directions say to cut out the diagram on this page, fold each door or flap along the dashed line and glue the My Favorite Jeans tab into your interactive notebook or onto the line template. Underneath each door or flap, define these terms. So the first thing you need to do is get some scissors and you need to cut the diagram out. By cutting this diagram out, it's talking about cutting on the solid line. So you'll cut on this line. And you can choose to cut across this top portion and this bottom portion down here. It can stay on if you don't really care about it, but you definitely need to cut along the solid black line. So that would be this line. And then you're going to take your scissors and you're just going to cut across the line to where it ends. So you're going to cut all of these out. Every single one of these gets cut, and then every single one of these gets cut. And presto, with a little help from video editing, I have cut this out. So what you can see is that this is still one piece of paper, but all I've done is cut this into lots of flippy flappy foldables. Okay, so the directions we just cut along this page, and now it says to fold each door or flap along the dashed line. Now I know that this doesn't actually have a dashed line, but there should be a dashed line that goes right along this edge and right along this edge. Essentially, this is going to have a spine right along the center, and you'll take each of these and fold it back. Okay? So that way you'll have a flippy flappy foldable. And presto, all of these have been folded back a little bit so that I can flip one out and I can flip another one out and I can see all of these. All right, so the next thing it says to do in our directions is to glue this tab into our interactive notebook. Now in my class we know that I don't have glue. You guys will be stapling this onto page 133. 133. Okay, that's where you need to go right now. It's page 133. So I have page 133 here in my notebook. I'm going to zoom this out so you can see all that we're doing with this. So I'm going to staple this spine into the center of page 133. I don't want to staple any of these edges or else I won't be able to flip them open because we're going to be defining some vocab words. All right, so remember, make sure that you only have one page when you're stapling this. Okay, but I'm going to staple the top. Then I'm going to come down and make sure I only have one page at the bottom. And I'm going to staple the bottom of this. Okay, that should be pretty secure. I can move this around. It's not going anywhere. Okay, and now I see all of these great vocabulary words that we are going to define. You have a couple choices to do this. The vocabulary words that we are talking about, genetics, heredity, DNA, genes, traits, alleles, dominant, recessive, genotype, phenotype, homozygous or purebred, and heterozygous or hybrid, and mitosis and meiosis. These are all words that we read about in the My Parents Wrecked My Favorite Jeans reading guide. Okay, all of them are bolded in here. And so all the definitions are right here on this page. So if you are doing heredity, you can see, oh, here's heredity, and it says heredity is the passing of physical characteristics from parents to offspring. Well, if your handwriting's small enough, you can go ahead and write passing of physical characteristics from parents to offspring in this blank. But I've also provided you with the second option. If you don't want to write all of these terms in, there's a sheet that looks like this, and you would have to find the term. You can cut these out, and you can attach them into the notebook. So if I am looking for the passing of physical characteristics from parents to offspring, it's this one right here. So I'd actually have to cut that out and attach it into my notebook. If you've got glue, your own glue, you're welcome to use that. You can use tape or you can use a stapler to do that. Whatever you think is going to be easier. If you would prefer to have the typed up words, then you can cut these out and attach them to the correct vocabulary spots. If you're okay writing the vocabulary words in, then you can go ahead and write them in. But all the answers, they all come from my parents wrecked my favorite jeans. Okay, they all come from this reading. There might be a couple extra things in here, but for the most part, the words that you need to know for this unit are right here on this extra flippy flappy foldable. Okay, there's lots of things in here. So go ahead. That is your assignment for this section. This is going to take you some time. When you are finished, your substitute has an answer key that you can check your work with. So that means if you would prefer, if you're going to use these and cut them out, you might just want to set them inside each of these and have the substitute check them before you attach them in, so that way you can move them around a little easier. Or if you do this by hand and you're going to write everything in, you may want to use pencil so that you can cross this out. All right, so that is your assignment right now. Go for it. The next video that you listen to is going to be talking about these alleles, and we're going to be looking at dominant, recessive, genotype, phenotype, and homozygous, heterozygous. We're really going to be looking at these 7 vocabulary words to see what is this all about. There's a whole bunch of letters and how do they all work together. But right now you're going to work on this vocab. Make sure that that is all placed in there. Not until you're done your vocab and do you have it all correct should you find and go on to the next video about alleles.